trauma is one of the few things that's actually able to change our personality and give us personality traits that were not meant to be a part of our personality traits. And so not a lot of things do that. Trauma does that. The Adjust Your Lenses podcast is back. And this time, it's a collab between my brother, Donovan, and I. Manna and Adjust Your Lenses presents Daily Bread. See, we've been on a journey. And what we want is for you to come on the journey with us. Get ready. Fasten your seatbelts. Come break bread with us. What? Yeah. Can you talk more about having to grieve different things, though, right? So we're talking about people now. What about having to grieve like things, whether it's a past lifestyle, past friendships? We were talking about that earlier too, right? You know, things like that. What is that? Yeah.
What's that entail, right? Oof. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough question, man. I mean, I know it's painful. That much I know.
That much I know.
I know that it's painful. I mean, I can't give you some scenarios of this, but like just having to where he says like, you know, to pick up your cross, deny yourself, follow me. Like this idea of like that denial, like especially with the past lifestyle stuff, like it's I'm trying to think of what example I should give. I think about clean. I think about my wife. I think about these things I have to do. I've had to do to let go of the past. But like it's weird. I think about this grief thing. So I think about with sin, like and sinful lifestyle, like you can be in such a lifestyle where the sin feel like it's a part of you. You know what I mean? Like it's like having another. It's like
absolutely.
It's
yes.
You never live without it. So how you know what I mean? Like it's normal. Like yo, nah, I've always done this.
Yeah.
Like what do you mean that's not right? You know what I mean? Like it's part of like my being. Like you know what I mean? Like of who I am. So I think for myself, like just going through the process of like really submitting myself to God, and following Him. You know, I mean that. I guess it's grief because it was painful, right? I'm not talking about it as you can't. I'm saying think about it right now as grief, but like it was painful, it was suffering because I'm like literally like he in the refinement process, he's literally separating. I mean, he's going back to like Sermon on the Mount. He's like, if your eye sins against you, pluck it out. If your hand sins against you, cut it off. It's like it felt like that, like where I'm like. But if the hand was never mine, you know what I mean? Like it was. So I feel like there was things on me and a part of me that were not of God. That I made a part of who I was. Like I was a monster, right? And God's literally like, "Yo, I have to sever." But it was painful because like, what? I don't want to let go of the whole. I thought my arm, the whole. Yeah. But it's like, nah, it's not. It's not. It's not your arm. You think it is, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
I need to sever you from it, right? I think for me that was the grief, like where I'm like, what do you mean, God? You gonna cut off my arm?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, nah, cause he's like, you know what I mean? But like, and that was a process, and that was a painful process. Where like, but in the submission, I saw, oh wow, that wasn't my arm. That wasn't a part of me. That was never supposed to be a part of my existence. But like, I was managing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like kind of like I was just kind of. I mean, I'm managing that thing in my life. Like, wait, it's not. I wasn't designed to carry it or to hold it or to have it a part of my of my being.
Yeah.
So I think the grief came in that.
Yeah.
That separation of myself and whatever the thing is that I'm trying to hold on to and like, and really not trying to let God have access to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without giving specifics to but like, like that was what it was for me. And I'm like, yo, like, wow, I always thought there was a part of me and actually it wasn't. Right?
Yeah. No, that is so good, and I find that I actually love the language that you use and sort of the visual representation you used just now, because I think that's what the sin nature becomes. It becomes a part of us. I'm not gonna go ahead and give specifics as well. But
one day we will.
One day, yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? But
yeah, because it's necessary. Because I think people think that certain things are normal that are not. And then people think there are certain things that are not normal that are.
Because you accept it.
Yeah.
You've been going through the pain, like, because it's funny, like, you think the pain is normal. Like, yo, like, you literally, where suffering in and of itself is normal.
Yeah.
Like, you've normalized it. It's like, no, you're not meant to be in a marriage or in a household where everybody's yelling and screaming out.
Right.
But it becomes normal. Like, that's how we've always done it.
Yeah.
Another household is over here peaceful, but it's like, no. But so again, it's like they were like, you've seen it, so it's become a normal habit. Like, the poison is the clean water. Like, it's
It's not. It's not.
That. Yeah.
And that's so good, bro, because, and I think that's a great example of something where the way we grew up and things we grew up and things we experienced growing up that become trauma. Trauma is one of the few things that's actually able to change our personality and give us personality traits that were not meant to be a part of our personality traits. And so not a lot of things do that. Trauma does that. And people today, I hear it a lot. People saying, that's just how I am. That's how I am. That's just how I am. It's like, actually, is that how you are, or is that what trauma made you?
That's what trauma.
You see what I'm saying? Because if the only thing that we are, and this is something I'm still growing into, the only thing that I am, the only thing that you are, the only thing we are is what God says we are.
Exactly.
There's no other definition. So any other definition we accept is false.
It's false. True.
And that's the thing. And what I have found is that, because I used to do that all the time. One of the ways, for instance, that this comes across, I'll just focus on men real quick. It happens to women too, but just for the sake of it, I'll focus on men right now. One of the ways this comes across is this idea of generational lusts and generational sexual immorality.
That's what I'm about to say. But.
Yeah, right? That's one of the ways this comes across. And so we start to say things like, well, Papa was a Rolling Stone, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how I was. I mean, my dad was like that, and that's just how it is. It's in the blood. It's not. It's not. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? It's a lie. And I used to believe this. And so to me, one of the things that I had to understand was, first of all, that is completely contrary to the gospel. Because it says that Christ shed his blood. So there's only one blood.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
There's only one blood. And your blood, if you are a believer, is his blood. So if it's not in his blood, that means it's not in your blood. So that means that this poverty mentality, it might have transferred through your DNA, but is not in your blood. So that means that you can break that. Now, I'm not suggesting these things are easy. It's not simple, right?
Right.
And there will be temptations and times that, you know what I'm saying? Even with poverty, I find that because one of the strategies of the enemy is to make sex, like, you know, whatever we focus on is what magnifies, right? And so when we magnify sex is both a thing, an object in our society and in our world, but it's also the biggest distraction. Because if you focus on it, it magnifies, and that means you're not addressing everything else. So it's actually really a distraction for everything. That's what it really is. It's a distraction.
It's a good distraction. Distraction. Like, it's the best move by the enemy to, like,
distract you. I'm just gonna distract you. And so and the reason why I'm saying this is because what people don't realize is that if your issue and my issue may not actually be sex and lust. It might be that your destiny is about breaking cycles of poverty, right? But he'll use sex to distract you.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? Exactly. It's that idea. It's just it's a distraction. It's just a distraction. So it's like if you're distracted from that, you can't focus on the thing that you are supposed to be focused on. And so what people don't realize is that while yes, it's physical pleasure and all these other things that it's pleasing to the eyes and all these other things. It's really just distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. And when you know that, you devalue it. You demystify it, it loses its power. Because then you start to realize like, oh, this is just a distraction. So all the lies and deceits and everything around it. This is why, for me, I used to run, like, legit. And this still sometimes I catch myself running now. I'm at the mall, I'm walking, whether I'm by myself or with my wife, you see something coming towards you, walk in front of you or whatever. And when I say something, I'm not objectifying women. I'm just saying the image of something, right? Catches your eye. And I catch myself doing these like these motions, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I know God is like, oh my God, he's still doing that. But when you realize, oh, this is a distraction, it's powerless. I have the Holy Spirit. I have God in me. I'm not gonna even feed into this. I'm gonna look. It catches my eye. It's right there. Now, am I going to gaze on it and now put my focus on it? No. If I do that, it's gonna magnify. But God does not expect me to walk around blindfolded either. God is not like, he's not to be mocked. You know what I'm saying? And but because men, we're so focused on it, and again, I'm just focusing on men for right now. We're easily distracted by it. And so this is one of the things that I'm having to deal with. And so going back to your point about grieving things, is like when we have to grieve things, part of what we're grieving is, hey, do you know that your personality has been altered or changed? It's really not you. Like you said, oh, it's really not my arm. No, and he's like, yeah, just give it to me and you'll see that I actually gave you a real arm. It's like I gave you real eyes, right? I gave you real, you know what I'm saying, real senses. I gave you real things. And so these things, like alcohol used to be something that for me, you know what I'm saying, that's what it was. I was like, who doesn't drink? Everybody drinks. Everybody abuses alcohol. Everybody abuses alcohol. Everybody does. How do you have fun without it? You know what I'm saying? How do you enter spaces without it? You know what I'm saying? You got to feel a little something. And that was an arm. Sure, it was an arm and a leg probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, and later on, it's like, actually, no, you don't need this.
I even go further. I'll tell you. I think it's a different video, but like for me, it was the leadership. Talk about the leadership thing.
Yeah.
It was like, so I'm thinking my personality is not even to be a leader.
Yes.
Why? You know what I mean? Just think about that. Like, like, I don't know. Like the enemy, whatever he had on me, like I couldn't even see who I was though. So I think about even to go deeper than like those. Like like when I think it really is the deep part of it. Like who God has truly designed you to be and to do beyond what you should avoid.
Yeah.
But actually, distraction keep you from actually realizing, like, yo, he wants you to be this thing, but you're never gonna get there because, you know what I mean. So these other things are getting you distracted, so you don't ever get to. So like, for me, it's like, yo, I'm feeling like, as I submit, like, wow, like God, like I can do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it never was even occurred to me until after, you know what I mean. After, okay, that's not you. That's not you.
That's right.
But now, okay, that's not me. But what is me?
What is me?
And that's the question that we have. That question I think all Christians should be asked. Like, it reading the word, it being a reflection, a mirror, right? For me to kind of like figure out the blemishes of the else, you start to figure, okay, you're getting out what's not him. You're getting refined. The vessel's being prepared. But then it's a point where like, well, what is the vessel for?
That's right.
But that can only happen when everything is cleared out. When it's completely refined, when all the blemishes are removed. Yeah. Now, oh, that's what I look like?
Yeah.
That's who I was. Like, and that's kind of like the question that we all should, and again, this is the process of, it's not an overnight journey.
No.
Then overnight, but it's the thing where, like, that's the journey. On the narrow road, you to realize, actually, I was designed to do this.
Yeah.
My pain, my trauma is now going to be the gift.
That's right.
Right? God will turn this thing that was used for evil against me for his good. Like, I think that's the part where in my journey, where, like, in terms of the grief part, but I grieve first, like, saying, like, because at the beginning of it, I'm just losing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going in there, literally, visually, like, I'm stepping out of the mud.
Yes. That's right.
And the first thing God do, like, I got this white suit for you.
Yeah.
What you gotta do first? I wash you off.
You gotta wash you off.
And sometimes, it was there where he had to hold me down. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but that was the initial, like, and I'm grieving, like, oh, the mud, like, I love this mud.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I grew up in the mud. I've always been in the mud.
Yeah.
Saying that it's not part of me.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm trying to clean you up, wash you down. And now I got this for you. Yeah. Right? I think that's for the grief was like, I'm grieving the mud. Like, oh. Like, But then, in retrospect, I thank God, like, oh, thank God I was in the mud this time, but the mud never got in my mouth. That was the grace of God. The grace was, but the grace was, while in the mud, it never got in my mouth. It never, you know what I mean? I can still be watched. So, like, that was the grace. Like, thank God I never got it in my mouth, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't do nothing in the mud. Yeah. But it didn't get in my mouth, though. Yeah. So now I can do, you know what I'm saying? So I think for myself, like, that was the process. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The beauty for ashes. Isaiah 61 is a scripture that is really, really important. And you referenced it earlier about how Christ himself, said, in Luke 4, the Spirit of the Lord has anointed me, healing to the brokenhearted, joy to those who mourn, beauty for ashes, all of joy for mourning, and, garment of praise for heaviness and things like that. And I think the part of the beauty in mourning things, I just said that, beauty in mourning things is that if you mourn it, what you just said is anything we give to God, he gives it back to us better. It's better than it was. So because in our hands, we are finite beings. And because he's infinite, like we don't have the wisdom and we don't see the future. We don't know what it's actually meant to be. So if you put it in his hands, including the things that we're mourning, we will start to see, like my wife. Classic example. It's crazy. As she has been given her grief over to God and continues to do so, God sends people her way, clients and things like that, who are also mourning. Who you know what I'm saying? And she's able to share her testimony. Exactly. That's the whole point. And from that, healing is coming. Exactly. So what really is like a sad situation now becomes a blessing. Exactly. God is able to glorify himself through it. And now it's like, he'll give it back to you better than it was before. That's good, bro. And so I'm finding out now, man, like people will call me or situations will happen and I legit start laughing at this point. Now I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Because they're sharing things with me and I'm like, oh, I've been there. So the pain I went through, and yes, I got hosed down. Oh boy, I got hosed down. I was out that hose. But through that hosing down, the purification comes, right? Where now I'm not just talking because I feel like it or something I heard. I'm telling you my life. My life becomes a testimony. Exactly. And that's why mourning things is really important too. I really think, this is something that we're going to have to explore again because I think mourning old life and old patterns is one of the things that keeps a stronghold broken.
Exactly. That's real. That's good.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We'll hope that you have been enriched by this conversation, encouraged, and edified by it. Looking forward to seeing you again next time. Until next time, peace.
Peace.